with your T and N right there.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. As I was setting up, and you're like, coffee. 9 o'clock coffee. Are you just planning to... You're flying tomorrow, right? Are you just planning to stay up all night?
Right. No, I mean, to be honest, I don't think caffeine does a lot, for me. But maybe sometimes it's about the ritual that will, I can really kind of, if I need to be energetic, do it. I think jump rope has taught us throughout the years, in the worst of conditions, when you're absolutely at your most tired that you feel like you can possibly be, you need to now do a performance. That's something we've gone through a lot. So yeah, it's fine. I'm super psyched. I could have not slept for a couple days and I'll but it's a little okay, let's wake up. We have coffee. It's the morning. Nobody knows what it's like outside. These guys don't know.
Nobody walking by knows we're doing a podcast in a van?
Also, yeah. I mean, these guys, hopefully the people listening or watching this podcast, it could be 4 a.m. for all day.
It could be. And they could be anywhere. They could be running. They could be, driving a
Great job.
lawnmower.
Keep it up.
Keep mowing that lawn.
Just keep moving. Have a great time along the way. That's what life's about.
Tori Boggs,
that grass.
world champion jump roper and comedian. Everybody.
Me? No, but I do want to get some footage with this sign. This is awesome.
We're gonna get it all. We do it big
in here.
We do it big here for the world's best jump roper.
Oh,
welcome to the Vancast, Tori.
Have we started?
We have. Is that okay with you?
That's cool. Wait, I gotta open. I feel like this is the starting moment, and we're off.
Now the podcast has started. Sparkling water is so good. Yeah. I can't get enough of it. I drink too much of it. It hydrates you like water, I'm sure, right?
Good.
Yeah. I love it.
I think it works the same as water. I don't know why there would be huge differences.
Yeah, just sparkling. I don't know.
Sparkling water has made its way through the U.S. too, very European thing, starting to invade, spread through America.
You probably get to see all the different trends and things.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of true. But sparkling water is huge, especially in Europe. And they have the different levels of frizzante and... Yeah.
What's that?
It's just sparkling water, basically. But they have some that's more sparkly, sparkling than others. So, yeah.
In different countries, don't they bring you sparkling water first and you have to ask for regular?
Yeah. So, my very first time in Germany, actually, I went to Frankfurt when I was maybe 14. It was a while back. We had no idea. Of course, we're kids in the gym, training for a show or something. We get off the floor and they're room temperature orange juice or sparkling water. Oh man, yeah, that's not what you want right off the floor. Or at least that's not what the Americans wanted. We're what is this? There's no ice available.
Yeah, how quenching. Yeah, so odd.
Yeah, huh. But I mean, it's what you're used to, right? And if anything, people always say it's a little healthier to drink warmer water, especially in athletic setting. So
I've heard that.
Yeah. About body temperature.
Because it can absorb it faster, doesn't shock your system.
Yeah, something like this.
I see.
All of that stuff.
Okay, all the science things. Nick's Vancast, the science episode.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. You guys have to look that up. We're totally the experts on it.
I need a fact checker here, but welcome to California.
Thanks.
A very exotic place, actually.
For real? No, really, though.
Yeah, because you're from Ohio. Right?
Yeah.
Second time we've talked about this today.
Let's go. Nobody knows. Yeah, Ohio. So it was snowing 2 days before I came here.
Oh my gosh.
The day before it was 70 degrees. This is quite normal in Ohio. Yeah. Shorts, t-shirt, one day, next day you have snow. I literally was on my couch, 8 a.m., getting my day ready. Look out. It's snowing. Oh man. But then by the end of the day, it had already stopped and was getting warm. That's Ohio.
Just all the time?
Yeah.
That's so strange.
I mean, not in July. That's not really happening. But yeah, that's kind of Ohio for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Almost never snows here.
Right.
I've had 1-2 snow days in my life, maybe.
Really?
And it's
I can't even believe you had that much.
I know, right? It's crazy. 82 in Santa Cruz today. Here we are, Santa Cruz, California.
Super nice.
Can we say what you're doing here, or is it under wraps?
Yeah, no, we can totally say it. I work with RPM. They do a lot in the functional fitness category. They make some sweet jump ropes. Plugging that in for them. You can get a discount code on my Instagram. But no, for real, a great company culture, really cool. They're based in Santa Cruz. They're from this area. And it's one of those things where I had the privilege of, going right into their backyard, being integrated into the company, doing a lot of work with them this week. It's been super fun, and I can just see that throughout the whole company. Everyone really enjoys being there, and that's always a really fun environment to be a part of. So very inspiring. You can leave and just feel that energy. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Getting to travel and meet some incredible people, network with amazing companies and things.
Yeah.
We got to tell the people who you are.
All
right?
the people.
Tori Boggs, world champion, world's best jump roper.
Yeah, it's hard with this term because you can win multiple titles, right? So it's hard to say world's best. Like, okay, I won triple unders. There's a lot of amazing jump ropers out there. So you can say, okay, I'm the best at triple unders. You can say I'm the best at these different events that I've won. So, yeah.
Okay.
But if you want to give me that title.
You're my favorite jump roper. I will say it. Yes.
Sweet.
Jump roping.
Jump roping.
You've probably said this story a bajillion times.
Let's go.
When? How? Why? Jump roping for you.
I first saw it when I was 5 years old, and it was just love at first sight, and that was it.
That's it?
Off to the races from that moment. That's all I was doing, was just wanting to jump rope before school, after school, anytime I could get my hand on the rope. I was really bad when I started. Yeah, it took me forever. I mean, I was uncoordinated 5-year-old, but it took me forever just to be able to jump over the rope. But what ended up happening was I just couldn't stop. I wanted to keep going. And my mom saw how much I loved it. So she got involved from a kind of coaching and judging standpoint. So she started learning how to coach me and help me out with these skills. And then, of course, I was little, so she would be there, as a mom from that standpoint as well. And then, fast forward many years, and her and I have ended up kind of traveling the world together. And I am very honored to be at that world level of a jump roper. But my mom is actually the Secretary General or Co-Secretary General of the International Jump Rope Union. So, wow. She also has that passion for jump rope and helping other people grow in the sport as well.
It's a family affair.
Yeah,
that's
family
amazing.
Affair. My brother even jumped rope a little bit. He's the soccer player in the family, but he did jump a little.
So athletics.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Did you see it on TV? Was it at a school event?
Oh, yeah, good question. We were at a tournament. I think it was an AAU tournament, amateur athletic. It was in North Carolina. And my brother was there for a taekwondo competition. And my mom and I were just walking around kind of throughout the tournament. And they had a jump rope event there. And that's where I saw it. And I was quite lucky because the team that I saw is from West Virginia. So, I mean, of all, which is where I was from, by the way. We didn't go over that, but or where I grew up, rather. And I mean, there's not every city has a jump rope team. There used to be one actually in Santa Clara. I don't know if they're still around, but
yes, I knew about that.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll have to tell you, I'm a huge jump rope guy.
Oh, let's go.
But anyway, sorry.
I love it. Oh my gosh. Yeah, sweet. So, there was one in West Virginia. It was the perfect thing to do growing up, and I never could have imagined all the crazy opportunities that happened since then. But I think the best thing that I can always relate back to is just that pure love or joy that I felt when I was like a little girl. It's always what I try to get back,
That's amazing. Yeah. Would you say it's common that people find that thing that they're so passionate about so early? Because that's amazing.
Yeah. I mean,
you stuck with it.
I was really lucky. There was a team where I was from. Like, how incredibly lucky is that? So I feel very fortunate for that. And, that's something I definitely strive to do through my life is try to do what does bring me joy and happiness each and every day. And I don't think you see that from everyone. That's, of course, just my point of view from traveling around. But what that does is just motivates me to try to continue to find ways to do what I love each and every day as well. So
amazing. Cool.
It's fun stuff.
Yeah. So I jump roped from a young age as well.
Yeah.
I did jump rope club at my elementary school.
Oh, I didn't know anything about this. Okay, keep going.
And so, I'm just tying it in. So it was just like telling you that I have so many questions to ask you.
Yeah, that's great. You know firsthand.
Yeah, fellow jumper. Once a jumper, always a jumper, right?
It's true.
Is it? Okay,
yeah.
Good. I'm not phony.
Legit. We're like tied now by ropes. Jeez.
Yeah, because I remember loving it too. Obviously, I don't do it now professionally or whatever, but yeah, I remember doing it as part of a PE activity with this PE teacher I really, really liked. And then we had this like mobile like classroom, one of those standalone classrooms that we would do PE in.
Yeah.
But then at lunchtime, we would turn it into like the jump rope room.
I love it.
We had after school jump rope club. And then there was like 5, 6 of us that were so passionate about it that we would do it like all the time after school. And then we would get to go off campus during school. We'd do field trips and do clinics at other elementary schools.
That's awesome.
Which, I mean, I was in like 3rd grade at the time. So looking back, I'm like, were we really that good? But I felt like a rock star, you know?
Yeah.
But then I got older and it faded away, as a lot of things do. But then picking it up, trying to pick it up, like I would say a year and a half ago.
Nice.
And this is something I want to ask you about because I didn't stick with it for more than a week because it is so stinking strenuous.
Yeah.
People don't realize how strenuous it is to jump rope.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. And you do these jump rope events that require endurance, so much endurance and power and speed and all these things.
Yeah.
There's a lot to unpack. But as far as the events go or the different, things that you can do within jump roping, do you have like a specialty that you do? Because there's, I don't know.
Right. I see what you mean. There's a lot that you just covered.
Yeah. There's a lot.
So I definitely have strived in jump rope to be a well-rounded jumper. And so that's something I was always trying to do, is win the all-around award when it came to like world championships. So that requires you to be quite good at a few different events, which makes it more fun, right? You get to do a lot of different things. But I would say that I probably specialize more, especially nowadays, in solo events. But I will say that some of the best parts of jumping rope are getting to jump with other people. And some of my best memories are, being on Team USA, being at the World Tournament, and being on the floor with like my 3 best friends, right? And we're competing together. And we went through the hours of training in the gym together to get to that point. And those are some of really the best moments, is sharing jump rope. And kind of go back to that point, I think it's super cool that you were on a team, even when you were in 3rd grade. And it doesn't matter if you guys were great or not. The jump rope is about the happiness that people get when they share it. So you could be a 3rd grader sharing it with another 3rd grader at a different school. How cool is that? So it's, it's not just about jumping over rope. It's about, obviously the cognitive development, the physical development, but also just the socialization that comes with the sport. And you're really connected to so many people across the world.
That's so true.
Yeah.
We would watch those, I think it was Jump Rope for Heart videos on VHS.
Yeah.
Just get so psyched.
VHS.
Yeah.
Dang. You gotta love it.
During PE and just be like, we want to do that. And I have like the t-shirts still and in my newspaper clipping.
It's such a thing. Yeah.
At what point were you like, I think I'm proficient at this now and I could probably do this? Like as a career. That's pretty wild.
As a career. Ooh. Yeah, there's definitely an evolution there of kind of how it built up, because you also have to think it's not something that was possible. All of our lives we learned, okay, you can follow this route to be a teacher, this route to be a lawyer, this route to be a doctor, right? Everything's quite laid out. And nowadays there's so many jobs that you don't even have names for them. I couldn't even name a job, like some of these jobs that people do. And so I think that was part of it. Was growing up, you didn't really know that jump rope was possible as a profession. There were so many opportunities that just hadn't yet been explored. And so as I was kind of going through college, I started just performing. And we had always done performances when we were younger, like going to schools, that type of stuff. But nothing really to the level of, getting paid, being on a stage and being in front of people and making that as fun of an experience for your audience as possible. And so that's what I started doing during my time at High State. And I found myself really looking forward to every weekend, because I was going somewhere to do a performance, or even on campus, I was doing a performance. And that kind of built from there. And that's really when I discovered like my performing style, because it is quite different than jumping rope in a competition. They are totally different types of ball games. And we didn't know that.
Okay.
So like how you approach that is quite different. And so I was learning that through college, like by just doing and like finding out how the audience reacts, and kind of also developing my own style. And that's, jump rope is quite significant on everybody has their own way of using the rope, their own way of moving. And that's a really creative part of the sport itself. But you can also apply that to the performance world. So all just kind of grew into this. I don't know if that went back to your question. Your question seems to be about competition, but as a career, right? That's kind of how it built, was like finding out what's possible, or like where this jump rope can take me.
Well, right, because I think there are probably a lot of people who are good at jump roping, but then there's this next level of, oh, I can do this and I can sustain myself via working as a professional jump roper.
Yeah.
There's a difference like between people who like to play baseball and are, college baseball players, and then they're professional major
Sure.
league baseball players. So was there a switch for you when you're like, oh, I actually stand out above the crowd?
Well, I will say this, a professional jump roper doesn't always mean that you're great at jump rope, which is a pretty interesting statement, I'm sure. But there are loads of people that are making money off of jump rope that aren't actually the best jump ropers, which is really interesting. And so growing up in the sport, or not growing up, but as I got older, I saw that. I saw these people that were making money from jumping rope, but they couldn't jump rope nearly at the level that all of us were jumping. So we were always like, how are these people doing this? Like, and part of it is just the ability to connect with the audience, because oftentimes what we do with the rope is so complicated that someone can't catch it. It just goes right over people's heads, which means that we can really nerd out on jump rope. Like if you meet other jump ropers, you're like speaking a different language. People have no clue what's going on. And then you pull something crazy out. And unless someone's really watching intricately what's going on, they're going to just have no idea. So what starts to happen is that people are doing a lot easier of things, but a kind of a public person who doesn't know jump rope so well is looking at that like, oh my gosh, they're the greatest jump roper that's ever existed. We're going to buy their program to learn how to jump. You know what I mean? So that's actually quite a common thing that happens, which is it's pretty interesting. It's a whole other conversation maybe, but yeah.
I mean, it's definitely crazy to watch like the things that you do, and your rope is just going crazy. It's like, but people who are, in your field, they know what you're doing. Right?
Yeah.
They can name the tricks and things.
And I know like a lot of the stuff, especially that I'm posting on social media, you learn kind of what people enjoy watching and what they don't watching. And sometimes I feel super lame to post something because it was skill-wise quite easy. Now when it comes to putting together actual videography or finding the different angles that you want or how you want to represent, of course there's so much work that goes into that. But the actual jumping part is so easy that sometimes I really have a lot of trouble posting a video. But those are the ones that end up being the most successful because people can interpret what you're doing. And that's where I think competitive jump ropers, or those of us who have spent so much time in the sport that we truly have the mastery of the jump rope, we actually have trouble making money or like making it a profession because we don't want to put out this stuff that's quite easy for us to do. Does that make sense? It's like just like we're like, oh, it's not hard enough. We're not working hard enough physically on the floor right now to make that video. So you're not even willing to do it. So this is some of the videos I know, like my jump rope friends are like, this is super easy, But then a kind of normal person who's not used to seeing that are like, oh, it's the coolest thing you've ever. Like, wait, I can do this. I can actually like do these really, really difficult things. They just have no idea.
Oh,
yeah.
You do some like, this is how you do these trick type of videos too, right?
Yeah, I do a little bit of that, trying to break it down.
Yeah. I mean, it's still just very impressive. And I also heard in an interview that you did that you edit your videos too, right?
I do edit. Yeah, I do all my own stuff.
That's crazy. I was like, oh, she's got to have like this whole multimedia team.
No,
and here you are, just a pro video editor too.
I'm not pro. I struggle a lot. I have gone through so many thinking of an idea, trying out the idea, spending loads of time on it, and then the video is just a total bust because it's a lot of it is figuring out what to do, or I realize, oh, I didn't shoot it the right way, or this and that. But it's fun. And when I was especially first starting my Instagram page, I had that time that I could do. It was in the beginning of the pandemic, right? I had that time that I was like learning something totally new, and I still am learning. Like each video edit is different and kind of a new experience.
And you probably get to connect with so many people who are into what you're doing and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Community is great.
Yeah.
Community aspect is super nice.
From people who aren't even jump ropers, right? I'm sure.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Is there's like this connection that we didn't really have before, and now you can reach so many more people. Or so many different people across the world because of social media, which is crazy to think about. But yeah, it's super fun.
So I have a multi-part question, kind of. What's up? Throw me off. Well, you talked about the performance side, and then you also talked about the like competitive side of things. Do you have a preference for one versus the other? Because the things on social media, I mean, there's probably a difference between the things that you often post versus the things that you would do in a competition of
Yeah.
a certain discipline.
The stuff that we do on Instagram, I say we, the stuff that I do on Instagram, I would never do in competition because you would get 0 points. You would not win anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. As far as what I like more, for different reasons, I like different things. I mean, I grew up competing all my life. It took me a while to find like what my performance is or how I wanted to represent jump rope. And it's still like, it's an artistry, right? And I really genuinely mean that it is an artistry. So it's about kind of discovering how you want to represent jump rope, how you want to move with jump rope. And there's like no rules in performance. And that's something I really love. Like competition, you have a strict set of rules that you need to follow to get X amount of points. You do it with no mistakes, like all of these kind of factors that go into, of course, performance. You don't want to have a mistake either. But when it's just you, if you do have a mistake, you can kind of problem solve and figure out how to kind of get around it. Whereas in competition, that's quite difficult to do. You don't have that freedom as much because people know jump rope so well, they know what a mistake is. Whereas like in general public, maybe they have no idea that you just made a mistake because they're just like amazed at what kind of is coming at them right now.
I see.
So I guess from that standpoint, I really love this freedom in performance of being able to move a little bit differently or think of things differently that we weren't able to do in competition.
Were your worlds of performance and competition kind of combined or merged when you were recently on the Go Big show?
On the Go Big show.
Because, I mean, that's a mixture of both, right?
Yeah, I guess it's a competition in itself, yes. But I also didn't have to think about the hardest jump rope tricks because people have no idea.
And I didn't get a chance to watch it. It's out, though, right?
Yeah, you can catch them on YouTube. They have clips on of my 2 rounds that I did.
What was that experience like? That's a pretty cool thing you got to do there.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting. I mean, I've done TV shows before, and they're always, they give you stories to talk about, whether that's good or bad. You definitely learn a lot from them. The reason I went onto this show is because I have done other TV shows. They didn't always end so well, but I learned from them. And I learned kind of to stand up for myself in different ways. So going into this TV show, when they contacted me, I was like, I require these things. And if you can do that for me, I'll do the show. If you can't, I'm sorry, I just can't. I'm not going to do it because it's quite a bit of time. Like I went and I lived in Macon, Georgia for a full month just to shoot this show. And that part actually ended up being pretty cool because normally on TV shows, it's really difficult with scheduling. They bring you there for this week. And then if you make it to the next round, you got to find another week that it lines up and come back. So the fact that you could kind of do it all at once was pretty cool. It worked out. And my mom was with me. So my mom and I shared a hotel room for a full month, which had its ups and downs as any like relationship like that would. But ultimately, like, I mean, how cool is that I could kind of share that time with my mom and reconnect, which is really rare.
Yeah. I mean, she was on the show too.
Yeah. She was on the show. Yeah, she was awesome. She's the best.
That's so cool. Was it during 2021 then?
Yeah. What are we in now? 22. Yeah, it was August of 21.
Yeah.
Where are we?
Time is blended. But...
We're on the moon outside.
We could be anywhere, actually.
We're on the moon. We need to take this podcast outdoors.
I know, right? Every episode looks the same. So it could be anywhere. That's the cool thing about traveling in a van. It's like I could be in a Walmart parking lot. I'm like, I'm just going to imagine I'm in Breckenridge, Colorado.
Target. No.
Target.
Yeah, Breckenridge. Oh, yeah, that would be cool. You go snowboarding.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Colorado, speaking of Georgia, you get to travel all over the place to do this thing that you love.
Yeah.
What is that like for you? That's got to be so amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I definitely love to travel. I guess you kind of have to. If I didn't, it would be pretty miserable.
You're like a touring artist.
Yeah, no, it's really been super cool. I never could imagine being able to travel this much. I think my parents had no idea either. Like when I first started jumping and then was qualifying for these international competitions, we were going to Australia, South Africa, England, like France, Portugal, like all these different places. My parents were like, take advantage of this time, because it is rare, especially as an American student, like to travel it's a big hassle, so to say. Like it's a huge deal to like leave the country, a huge country. So I definitely felt really lucky for these opportunities. And at that time, I was also doing this like collect an instrument from every country, which is, I know, it was like very ambitious and not cheap for me.
And random.
Yeah, and very random. Well, I love music, so it kind of, I guess, fits together.
That sounded judgmental.
Yeah,
I didn't mean it that
way. Yeah, it was definitely a daunting undertaking, I guess. But at the time, I'm just a kid. Like, let's get this sweet instrument. So I did collect some cool ones, but then you quickly found out that I was traveling a lot and not able to keep this up, and couldn't bring things back with me. And also, they were really expensive, and it didn't last the longest ever. So
I picture your carry-on as a trombone or something.
No, legit, I had the Australian didgeridoo. I mean, that is that's such a hard thing to transport. I had African bongos. I was like carrying through the airports. I mean, and then plus, like, you go to a jump rope competition. Well, this is more in the US, but sometimes the trophies that they give, like even first, second, third, like, they're big. So it was just like, I don't want that.
Tori's gonna jump roping, everybody. Her trophies are this big.
I normally don't talk about this shoot. I didn't mean for that to come off as weird.
No, it wasn't.
It was hard to travel with stuff, basically.
You know those luggage weight limits? All that gold adds up.
Shoot, Nick. Medals were nice.
You earned it. I'm giving you a hard time.
Oh, man.
So travel, though, you travel.
Yeah.
Are you traveling for competitions always? Or are you traveling just like, I want to go there and I'm going to connect with, you're working with athletes and companies. Is it competition and sponsorships too now?
Yeah, there's a mix of stuff for sure, which makes it really fun. There's always things changing and different purposes for each thing. And then, of course, back to the point of, like, I don't have a managing team. Part of that is on purpose, because I'm able to control my own schedule, and I love working directly with brands or companies or events. I love being able to be that communicator, because it can get so complicated when you start to work through other people, and the timeline just shifts so much, and I want to get things done. Like, I want things to happen, and I want to keep taking advantage of opportunities. What was the original question? Back to what I'm doing. Okay, yeah. So because of all the pandemic stuff, right, jump rope competition really changed. A lot of them, like a couple of years ago, our world tournament had to be canceled, obviously, like everything else. And then stuff kind of moved online. It really kind of changed how the sport was working at that time. Obviously, it's coming back to kind of normal. But already, world competitions are every 2 years now. So it's like already there's like a gap of time.
Like 4 years then.
Yeah. And so especially I was working in Germany actually when the pandemic hit. And of course, nobody knew what was going on. We were quarantining there. You couldn't really leave. I literally just had a suitcase of clothes. And then my parents back home freaking out about me being abroad. But I just had this outdoor, I was lucky that I did have this outdoor patio. And especially in kind of, if you scroll on my Instagram back to my first videos, there's this red wall that I'm in front of. And this is like my famous little red wall. And that's where I just started jumping outside. Like, I had to do something during this time. I had nothing else with me. And then, of course, you wanted to exercise and do something that made you happy. So I actually started making these videos because my parents were super worried about me. And so I was like wanting to show them, I'm like, no, I'm having a good time. Like, I'm doing things a bit silly, like having, just like everybody was kind of figuring out their own way. And it just kind of started from there. And it kind of turned into, people started messaging me like, oh, this is super cool. I didn't think anyone was going to, find my videos or think, like, relate so much to them or connect so much to them. And then there were people that were like, we're picking up jump ropes now because of seeing this. And I was like, oh man, I can't stop. Like, now people are getting into it. Like, let me just kind of use this and do it more. And of course I enjoyed it and was having like creative fun and really having a good time. And then it just kind of took off. And it just, I didn't plan where it would go or what was going to happen. But just, was enjoying the journey, and I still am. But what happens now is, as the world hopefully continues to open up, there's all these really cool opportunities that are now able to happen. And of course I love to travel. I have that travel bug. So I'm just trying to take advantage of them.
I mean, I can tell you why the social media explosion is, because not only are you really proficient at what you do, but I mean, on your Instagram, it says jump rope and smile, right? You're you're a positive person. You're sharing, something cool and active, and it's just a positive thing. There's so much negativity, and
Yeah.
here's something that you're putting out that's never like, you can't jump rope and frown, can you?
You can't. It's
Yeah, we can?
impossible. No,
Oh,
you can't. You
cannot.
can't. It's
Yeah.
impossible.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can't.
It just doesn't even work. Like, you can't even do it.
So people connect with that. I mean, I see it and it's like, oh, that makes my day. You know, you have
Oh,
happy
cool.
song and you see somebody jumping and doing something really awesome. I think that is amazing.
Yeah, it's a happy activity.
Absolutely.
The jump rope is literally a smile. Like, the
Wow.
shape. It's a smiley smile.
That's amazing. I didn't even think about that. Except
Don't
when
look
it's
at it.
upside
Don't
down.
look at it that way. We're just sticking to the
Yeah.
half of it.
Do you have any favorite places that you've traveled
Mm,
with the rope?
That's a really hard question. Culture-wise, I love the Italian culture. Like, I always gain weight when I go there. I have to eat all the food. Yeah, I'm like, I'm only here for 5 days. That means I can have 5 gelatos, 5 tiramisus, like 5 coffees. Yeah, I mean, so I really love and the Italian people are super cool. The country is absolutely beautiful. So from that standpoint, I love it. I also really love Alaska. Like, I'm a mountain person, and so I love the mountains and snow, and I just think that it's such a beautiful part of the world. And I mean, anytime, even whenever I'm over in Europe and I get to go to the mountains, it's like, oh, let's go if I have the chance. I've taken like night trains to just be, somewhere for a day, and then a 10-hour train back the next night, like, just because it's the mountains, right?
Yeah.
As far as jump rope wise or working with people, my favorite spot is Kenya, because we went there to help them host the East African Rope Skipping Championships. That was kind of the event we were doing. And what happened was just, there's so many really talented kids that are just jumping rope all the time. They love it so much, to the point where they would like wake us up as soon as like we were allowed to basically grab our jump ropes. They would wake us up, and then we would go and just teach them until we were forced to go to bed because the place was closing or whatever. It stayed open until midnight for us, and then they would just do this every single day. And it was like the spirit of these kids just wanting to learn jump rope was so refreshing. And just, no matter what was going on in their lives, it's such a different, obviously, part of the world. Jump rope just brings happiness. And the other thing about jump rope is, like, it's a language in itself. So is smiling, right? Which is why I love to smile, is because you don't even have to speak the same language, but you can connect to someone. Jump rope is this, exactly. Like, we have our own language of jump rope, so to speak, but you can work with other people without ever even having to speak a word. You can share it with somebody, which is just such a cool thing, no matter where you go.
That is really cool. I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
Jump roping doesn't have a language. It's just jumping rope.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Kenya, huh?
Kenya was cool. It was really cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Oh, also, that's why I have my Kenyan. I went in 2011, so maybe I need to go back sometime soon.
Oh,
but
okay.
Since that time, I always had my Kenya bracelet on. Granted, my original one did break, which was sad. It had Kenya written on it, but I've had some really cool friends that will send me new ones.
So it's been 10 years since you've gone?
Yeah, it was 11 almost. 2011 is when I was there. It was a long time ago.
Oh gosh, you gotta go back.
I know.
Yeah.
It was such a good experience.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And you put on a competition there.
Yeah. So that's I feel very lucky because I'm one of the international athlete ambassadors for our sport, and what that entails, right, is helping the sport spread as much as possible. But coming from that competitive background, I've been fortunate enough to be able to go to different countries and literally help them host their national championships. So that was something I did in Moscow a couple times, which was super cool, very interesting, because I can read Cyrillic but cannot speak Russian at all. So even just knowing that little bit of being able to read Cyrillic, if you ever go to these parts of the world, definitely helpful, because there's some cognates. So when it comes to just the ability to read, it does make a huge difference. But then, of course, the language and the culture is quite different. So that was a really interesting experience. And then, so the same with going to different parts of the world and hosting different competitions. We definitely do that also in Ohio, right? We're hosting competitions there. Or I helped start the Collegiate Jump Rope League, we're a nonprofit organization, NCJRA, National Collegiate Jump Rope Association. But we help college teams basically grow into sport clubs or into student organizations, and then we host a collegiate competition. So that was something I got to start when I was at Ohio State. And then now I'm a little more of kind of the background organizer on it, and then other people are kind of running it, which is super cool when you can see something be sustainable and you can kind of go on to cheer from the side. Yeah.
Not only are you really good at what you do, you want to share that and help others experience that too. That's amazing.
Oh yeah, I mean
Through
that's the thing
competition
is jump rope should be positive. It's there's something for everyone in jump rope. Jump rope is for everyone. Yeah,
I love that.
That's the statement.
In addition to travel, have you had any crazy jump rope experiences? And I know of one that I want to ask you about. Jump roping with fire, a flaming rope.
Oh yeah,
which you did on the show, right?
I did do that on the show. That is true.
On a beach somewhere.
Yeah, as well. The beach was for practice.
That was before the show?
For the show.
Oh.
Yeah, well, so the producers they're like, let me start this statement over. The producer.
Take 3. Action.
Actually, how would that action? That's good. The producers like, what do you want to do? And that was part of it. Is I was like, I want to do this and I want to do this. So if you can make that happen, cool. Because did I do that?
Take 4. No, that was me. This is the kettle because, Tori requested we had coffee on the Vancast.
I'm high maintenance. Please don't quote that.
She came on the show before cameras were rolling. She was like, "Where are my M&Ms?
Green ones only."
Clicked record. I like the smile. No, Tori's been very nice the entire time. I promise.
Oh, that's terrible.
I promise. I'm not crossing my fingers.
Oh no, come on. What were we? Oh, fire producers, the show. Yes. So I forget what I was talking about. Yeah, so that was definitely one of the things that I wanted to do. So I had done fire performance before. It was actually in a Cirque du Soleil show in Canada. But there were so many requirements. Like the fire department was there, so they were monitoring everything, which is fine. I love safety for the most part. But it was like really restrictive on the type of fuel I could use, how big that flame could get, because there's an audience too. You're in a big like arena, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of restrictions.
Lighter fluid, just douse it.
But what it does is it just looks not as cool. Like ultimately, all these restrictions are obviously for safety, but in the end, it doesn't look as cool.
Yeah.
So I told the show, I was like, I want to do as much fire as you'll allow me to do. And so they're like, okay, I think we can make that happen. So I was like, all right, let's do it. If you let me do that, because they also are all about safety. I don't want to cut that short. Like we had the firemen literally as close as possible to the stage. We had all of the stuff in place. Like we went over it 1,000,000 times to make sure like safety is covered. The guys were ready with like the fire blankets and the extinguisher. You don't see it on camera, obviously, but literally a millimeter beside the camera are the people ready, just in case. So they had safety. I also had everything was fireproofed. So were my turners, and it was super cool. So we were safe, but I still think we could have done more fire.
I love that.
But maybe that's for the future. Now that everybody knows it was possible, they've seen it. Okay, now we can do more. That's usually how it works. But on the beach, I was trying a new fuel to see if I could make it burn brighter. And I was trying a new type of rope and a new type of thing all together. And I thought it was smart to be on the beach. You can cover fire with sand. You can jump in the water. The dangerous thing about that is that even if you are burnt and you go jump in the water, burns are subject to infection quite easily. So you got to be careful if you're jumping in dirty water. That can get a little bit sketchy. Anyway, I made a mistake. I had a lot of confidence using that jump rope. I made the mistake. It was very silly. Mistakes that I really don't even make in jump rope. My parents were there. So they are quite good under pressure and, immediately jumped in as well when the rope got wrapped around my ankle. But it didn't just like grab my ankle or just graze the ankle. It got wrapped around the ankle.
The flaming jump rope.
The flaming jump rope. The bad part of that is that I'm trying to at first shake it off because usually you can shake off your jump rope. But it was wrapped in a way that it got super tangled. And so then once I kind of realized I wasn't going to be able to shake it off quite quickly. And then, of course, my parents are coming over, like throwing sand and like we're trying to get water. But then once again, you're a little bit like, do you want to get on the water? But also your foot's on fire. So, make the decision. But yeah, I realized, okay, I actually have to like get my hands in here and like pull this off. Honestly, it ended pretty well. Like considering how bad it could have been, I'm like, great. Like the scar is quite good. It's very minimal. Second degree burns for the most part, a little bit of third in there. I was really fine. The foot didn't feel great for quite a while, but it could have been so bad.
One way to look at it.
It could have been really bad. So, yeah, I definitely was lucky that it turned out great. I learned a lot. I will not be making that mistake again. So I think if anything, like I can see it as a really big positive. Like it was there as a warning.
Okay.
I came out of it great. One thing, especially with my parents being there, is they were obviously really nervous. They're like, you can never jump with fire again. And I was like, no, now I have to jump with fire again. Tomorrow night, let's just let it soak over. And my parents were like, no, Tori, what are you doing? And I was like, well, I mean, if I don't jump with it now, like I'm never going to jump with it again, right? Like we can't do that to ourselves. So yeah, the next night I did it again, made that video that you see online. My foot under, I put up high socks. My foot under it is very wrapped. I really probably shouldn't have jumped on it, but everything turned out okay. And then after that, I took like a good 3 weeks to a month of just propping that foot up and letting it heal. So
that's insane.
yeah, I mean, that's the thing is like I've had way worse injuries. I haven't had burn injuries though, so that's definitely scary. But I've definitely had like worse injuries that compromise my career more. So to me, those are like the more impactful, like impacting on my life a little more. So I'm like, all right, it's fire. It happened. I got through it. My foot's great. Let's keep going.
Someone asks you, how'd you burn your foot? I was jump roping.
Yeah, I know. Like, how ridiculous.
No, it's just crazy. They're like, what?
Like, what? How did you mess that up?
And that was for preparation for the
sorry,
show.
back to
So like, were you going into that like, oh gosh.
Well, so I just sent them the video, the successful one. And then we didn't really bring it up again until I was on the show. And then my mom was like freaking out. She was like going to the producer. She's like, now do you guys have all of this stuff in place because Tori burned herself? They're like, what? I think we need to hear about this. So yeah, thanks, Mom. She's there to protect.
Yeah, good mom.
Yeah, good mom. Yeah. Now I love scars. I think they're pretty cool, especially when they're a little gnarly. They show like life, it's like a life. Yeah, exactly. Like scars, what happened? Like what happened to you? Let's hear about it. It's a story.
It's a good one to have.
Yeah.
Now that you're okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't mind talking about that scar so much.
Okay, that's good. And then you talk about having to heal and recover from that.
Yeah, sure.
Performance in jump rope is a huge thing.
Yeah.
But before I get into that, I want to ask you really quick on the world record of triple unders. I've never done a triple under before.
Well, we got to change that. This van is pretty big.
The ceiling is not high enough to jump rope, is it?
That's going to make it hard.
But I can do double unders consecutively.
Yeah, okay.
A lot. I'm telling you, a lot for me. I can do consecutive double unders.
Yeah.
Maybe 100 at one point, maybe not.
That's quite good.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
But here I'm just bragging to you.
I know. But where's your big trophy? Sorry, it's easier to transport in the van.
That's amazing. That's a callback. You're a comedian. I told you. But triple unders, I remember not being able to do that. You okay?
Yeah, keep going. I'm excited about your triple unders. Like, let's get it.
Triple under? No, I never. Well, I haven't.
Let's do it
today.
Well, I mean,
after the show, you can.
People don't know that it's dark outside.
Oh yeah, it's bright outside. It's the middle of summer.
Loads of space.
We're in Florida, actually.
We're in California. You don't want to drive too many places. Gas is too expensive.
That's true.
We can just step on the sidewalk.
That's true. I'm thinking about doing virtual Vancasts coming up, like sometimes for people who like live in other countries.
Oh, sure.
My sister was like, "Oh, because gas is getting too expensive. It's if you're a guest on the Vancast, pay for gas, or you got to do virtual."
Or if we got a sponsor, who we looking at?
Target.
Good and Gather. Is that a brand?
It's like Target's food brand.
Oh, you know what? Target could probably afford to bring some people.
Why not try?
I have to check some contracts. I'm kidding.
But triple under I've never done because like I do the double under and it's like something to do with like the way you swing. It's like does the two fast and then the third one doesn't happen. And I've been like, I'm going to go on a trampoline and do it.
Yeah.
And even then it's like something to do with the cadence or something.
Maybe like next time you do that later when we're done here.
Yeah.
Think about doing 4.
Oh.
Yeah, sometimes if you think about doing 4, even 5, okay, I'm going to get 1, 2, 3, 4. Like you'll feel it. And when you feel it, then you'll be like, oh,
That's
we go.
the
Yeah.
height at which I need to jump. and
Yeah, like
swing your
because you're
wrist.
just trying to overdo it, and then you just realize, oh, I just did 3. Yeah, that
Oh,
definitely can be helpful for people.
that's a huge thing.
Yeah. The other thing is actually just with RPM, we just finished my double under series, and really all of the steps that you need to do to drill and get double unders, it's basically the same for triples. Just add a revolution, jump a little higher. Like it's really quite the same. That's how multiple unders work in jump rope. And then of course, repetition a million times. You got to practice it. So the same applies for triples. How you would approach it. Yeah.
So just aim for 5.
Aim for 5.
Aim for 10. You know.
And if you can do it, man, you should be in jump rope.
How many can you do? Like if you were gonna just do one big high jump?
Yeah, that's not really something. Earlier today, we were doing quadruple unders. That's not really something that we do in jump rope. There are some Guinness records that a lot of, I think the Japanese are quite good at. They're just super fast with their wrists and they just jump, and then they're really willing to land as low as possible, borderline exploding their knees. So they really get, I think,
Crouch up.
I want to say the most is in like octuple or like 8 times under. I want to say that it's either 7 or 8.
Wow.
Which is a lot.
That's crazy.
I can't do that, but I love to watch.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I'll cheer them on all day.
But even 3 is impressive, and you hold the world record for consecutive triple unders.
Yes.
How did you even decide? I'm gonna go for that.
How did that
world
happen?
record?
So I always strived in the sport of jump rope. I still do. But I strive to be a really powerful female. So my goal has always been to be able to do the tricks that the guys can do, but maybe the girls weren't doing so much. Because the girls were, usually a little more dancey, and I just wanted to be super strong and do really hard tricks. So with that, triple unders is a power event. It's quite brutal. It's it's the only event in jump rope where you're just going as long as you can. It's not timed or anything like that. There's no presentation requirements, and I love that. I love that you can just go on the floor and leave as much as you can out there, and you don't care what you look like or like any of these other factors. It's just, you and the jump rope. And so I feel like triple unders are just it's kind of the epitome of that in our sport, is just this raw, like power part of our sport. And it does require a lot of training, and it's definitely one of those things I've always strived to be quite good at. Yeah.
And how many is the world record right now? What's your record?
493. Yeah. So I gotta tell you this story too. I would have loved to have 500. I thought I had 500.
The trophy was too big to bring home.
Well, so you have to know my history with triple unders. Like, when I first started focusing on it, I was winning our Grand National Championships. There's a few things that remind me to come back to this moment. Okay. I was winning our Grand National Championships. I was wanting to go for winning Worlds. I go to Worlds. I did 330 triples, and I ended up tying the world record. Yeah, I thought I did 10 more than it. And I had so many other events going on that day that I was like, all right, I broke the world record. I'm going to stop. I'm going to save my energy, because I was trying to win all around at that tournament. Well, as soon as I stopped, everyone in the gym was like, what? Why did you just stop? Because they realized, like, I thought I had 10 more. You can lose count in triple unders quite easily. Let me tell you, you get in those hundreds. And they were like, why didn't you just do one more to get the world record? I just didn't know. So that felt a little silly, but I had to wait 2 more years to attempt the world record again, because there's world tournaments every other year. And this time I'm on the floor, I do 330, and I mess up on number 331. And how it works in triples is if you mess up on that number, they subtract 1 from your score. So once again, I tie it. Yeah, so 2 more years of training this. Okay, another thing that you need to know about triple unders is if you mess up, you're done, right? That's how this kind of event works. But they have kind of this one rule where if you mess up on your first attempt under 15, you're allowed to start again. So I have gone to a competition where I trained all year and I got 18 and I was done. That can happen. Like, that's just part of what happens. And I've watched some of the best guys in the world do the same. It can happen. You're in a competition. There's like crazy things. It could just be a bad day. You're a little off on your timing. That's why we train, right? Is to prevent that. So anyway, back to the triples. So I tied it 2 times. I came back and I was like, I got to solidly beat this. And I did beat it. I think I got 402. No, I had I don't remember. It was pretty solid. It was a lot. But I didn't feel like I did well enough. I don't know. I was like, I can do more. Yeah, I had broken it, but I knew I could do more. Like I love to go to as exhaustion as possible. So 2 more years. And then I solidly broke the world record, and I was quite happy because I absolutely gave as much as I could. At that time, that was 412. So yeah, going into triple unders again. Now I was like, all right, I want to train to get 500. My goal was actually 450. But of course, when you're in the middle of it and you pass 450, you're like, well, what's the next thing here? Let's try to get to 5. But my mom was actually counting me. She was my coach for the event, and our counter broke. Yeah, I know. Like one thing after another with triple unders, and it actually skipped ahead. So it like popped up. We have these manual tally counters in jump rope, and it popped up. So I was losing count around the 300 mark. So I was really kind of relying on that tally counter. My mom's reading it. It's at 500. So she's like, can you squeeze out a few more? I'm barely getting to what I thought was 505. And then I absolutely collapse on the floor. And we're pretty excited because I thought I got 500. And then we recount the video of it. And I'm like, 493. So I am still really happy because I literally like finished to exhaustion. My legs buckled under me. It took me like 15 minutes to be able to like walk, like that kind of thing. I did try to just reattempt the world record a couple days later because we had a pretty tight deadline. It was tough. I was like, my legs were shot. I think I got in the 300s, but yeah. So I am quite proud of that world record, but 500. That's
still the horizon.
That's the next goal of mine.
That's incredible that you break a world record and you go, I have more.
Well, I mean, jump rope is, it's not a sport where you're against a component. Jump rope is not a sport against an opponent, right? So you're not like measuring up who you're against for that day. But the cool part about it is you're really just against yourself. Yeah. So it's about like you going out and doing the best that you can, bettering your score. It doesn't really matter who gets first, second, third in that way. And there have been times where I've won gold at a competition and I left unsatisfied because it just wasn't my best performance out there. And then there have been other times where I definitely didn't win, but I was so happy because I did the absolute best I possibly could. And then, the results, maybe it was judging, maybe I wasn't the fastest, just didn't work out that way. But it's just about, can you leave knowing that you did your absolute best, that you left everything that you possibly could on the floor. And if you can do that, what more could you have done? Like you might get 5th, 10th, 50th place. It doesn't matter. You did the best you could. And I think that's such a cool thing about it. It's just you and your jump rope on the floor.
We'll talk about ambition that you have to have and drive to be great when you're just competing, even against yourself. It's inspiring for people who do take inspiration from watching people do amazing things and then say, oh, I thought I had given it my all and I have more to give, I guess, in anything, I guess.
Yeah.
Me, I run a lot. So I consider myself an endurance athlete, and I'm watching, a teammate who can run faster, and maybe I'm not as fast as them, but I can see them engage their effort, and it makes me want to like put in my whole heart.
I mean, we should all just be lifting each other up. Like if that's your goal, is just better yourself, to improve yourself, to grow yourself. Ultimately, we're all kind of growing together when we find that inspiration from other people. That's pretty cool.
We're all jumping together.
We're all there with our jump ropes.
Smiling
just you
with
and the jump. Yeah.
upside down faces. I saw I think the video is available, right? Where you like collapse afterwards. Or is that a different one?
Oh yeah, actually, yeah, that's in the Wired. I got to do a YouTube video with Wired, which was pretty cool. Was super psyched when I got the message. I was like, oh no way! Like they're gonna reach so many people with jump rope. That's so cool. Got to go to LA. We kind of did a huge shoot for that. It was really cool. They did a great job on the video. And they do have that triple under clip in there. That's true. I think, I don't think anyone else in the world has really seen it other than from that video.
Oh, really?
I did not post on my Instagram or anywhere for that matter. It's like a 5-minute long full video of it. And I always feel a little weird because I don't know how the community or my community will think of me posting this video. So yeah, it's in there if you want to see me. My legs buckle from just lack of being able to hold up my body.
Well, it just really points to how much endurance it takes and how much you're really putting forth everything to just collapse at the end of it.
That is the goal.
It's insane.
If I can collapse at the end, I'll feel great about myself.
Wow. You take like two extremes. You have like, kids jumping on the sidewalk, which is cool in its own regard. And then you have you collapsing on the ground after having given everything you have. Jump roping spans so much.
I will say I'm not teaching kids to collapse. That is not a particular goal of mine.
Knock it off with that double Dutch playground nonsense. Work harder.
Just collapse.
Faster.
That wasn't good enough. That's not what we're doing here. Geez, Nick, you're getting me in trouble.
No, I'm just saying it's cool that there's so many things that everybody should appreciate jump roping and how they do it.
I think it's the most diverse thing ever.
Yeah.
Like jump alone, jump with people. You can turn, you can jump. You literally don't even have to leave the ground to jump rope because you can do skills where you're just throwing the rope around.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool if you're injured or exhausted, is that you can still work on the technical aspects of jump rope because you can keep your feet planted on the ground and you can swing the rope around in different ways and work on technical skills, or turn double dutch for other people, engage with others, develop. You're developing obviously the physical aspect that comes with jump rope, but there's so much cognitive function that develops through remembering skills, thinking about how your body is going to interact, and problem solving of where the rope needs. There's so many things that happen in jump rope.
You love jump roping, I think.
This is a little bit. Only this
Can
much.
is it like air jumping? You like practice too?
That's one of the biggest ways that I train.
Really?
Well, actually,
Wait, what?
No, not
The air
really.
guitar? It reminds me of The Office when he's doing the invisible juggling.
Yes, that's exactly how you learn how to juggle.
I'm actually the world champion, invisible quadruple under champion. I forgot to tell you.
Congrats, Nick.
Wait, do you actually?
It's crazy. Get me out of this van. Where's the door handle?
Do you actually invisible jump rope?
So we in getting ready for competition, you're doing repetitions of your routines. So you're doing over and over and over again. So if I want to do that over again without tearing apart my body, I'm doing air jumping.
Got it.
Or it's kind of like figuring out how the skill's going to work. When I was in school, sitting in class all day, I could tell you I was doing a lot of air jumping, not even paying attention to what was going on up there. I passed, I was a good student. Don't worry about that. But lots of jump rope.
Best part about air jumping is no mistakes. No mistakes, no jump rope whips on your leg.
That's true.
Because they mentioned that in the Wired video too.
Yeah.
I'm like, we used to go to Home Depot and get wire and then put it through the handles with like a nut at the end.
Nice.
And we would just whip our legs up.
That doesn't sound fun.
We weren't trying to do this, but like as third grader, we were using the wire jump rope and stuff. I'm sure there's more professional ones. You don't have to go to Home Depot.
There are. You have other options. Should I plug in my jump ropes?
Can you please? Wait, can I ask one more question while we're on the topic of wire jump ropes?
Yeah.
Really quick. We'll get to torque ropes. It's amazing. But the thing from Wired as well, 3-minute speed.
Oh, Wired. Okay. I was like, where are you connecting them?
Wired and Wired.
Yeah.
Because that's take 5, everybody.
I think sometimes I start to get really close to this mic. I've hit it a couple times with my face. You might need to sanitize that. I'm sorry. I get real excited.
You're the first person to talk on that microphone, actually.
Ah, okay. Well, good luck for the next people. Hopefully I broke it in. Did I talk all sides? Or now
you did. Broke it in all the way.
Sweet. Okay, you probably don't remember what you're going to say.
No, I was just gonna say you do the 3-minute speed jumping.
Yeah.
And that's really cool.
Yeah.
Not really a question, but
Thanks.
no, tell us about the 3-minute speed jump, because as opposed to jumping up to a certain time to do the 3, I'm just gonna let you explain it. I'm sorry.
Nick has no idea what he's talking about.
This is my first podcast, actually.
Doing great. If this is your first.
This isn't action number 17. This is one.
You have a pretty nice setup for your first podcast.
Thank you.
Okay, wait. So 3-minute speed. So when I was little, I had a coach before my mom became my coach. I had a coach that told me I was kind of too little to do things. And then I remember going to my first national tournament. I was maybe 7. And I saw all of these little kids do 3-minute speed, which is what that coach at the time was like, you're too little to train this. It's too hard for you. And I was like, all these little kids, they're like my size, they're like my age, and they're doing this. I'm gonna do it. So I made a point of becoming really good at 3-minute speed. That was really my focus when I was super little. Part of the reason is because it's objective event. So it doesn't matter if you're 7, if you're 17, if you're 27. In jump rope, a pretty cool thing that they do in nationals and worlds is like you can compete in your age group, so like 15, 17, 18 above, and you can win that. But in the overarching tournament, if you're in the top, depends on the competition, let's say top 12 scores or whatever they deem the number is, you can all compete on the final day of the tournament regardless of age, just to see who the best of that event is. So you could have a 7-year-old beating a 27-year-old, which is so cool in my opinion, because it's just who is the best at this. And you shouldn't be restricted by the age. I think that's really cool. So 3-minute speed to me was really cool because of that. Like, it didn't matter how little I was. It didn't matter how goofy I looked, or once again, like if I had my hair done well or whatever. I just wanted to be the fastest. And so that's really where I started putting my focus in for competitive jump rope when I did first start. That was really what it, and 3-minute speed is the endurance event of our sport. It's kind of like running the mile or the 2-mile in track. So yeah, that was a long way about the 3-minute, but and then I started breaking. I was like the first woman to get over 900 jumps in 3 minutes, and then ended up setting a world record many years later after training super hard. And I got 1,010 jumps in 3 minutes. And my goal, was always to get over 1,000, to break that 1,000 mark. I did it, and my mom was my coach at the time, and it was just like one of the coolest moments ever because it was so hard. Obviously this was a little bit difficult. It was a little tricky. It took me a long while to like train for it. But it was just this first, I've done it a few times, but this first time when it all like came together, it felt so easy. And I was like, what's taking me so long? Like, I just remember, like, obviously we were super happy, but I looked at my mom and was like, that felt so easy. What have I been doing all these years? Like, how did I not do this sooner? It's just because I was trained, I was ready for it. It all came together. It felt great. And it was, super fun goal that I got to reach on that one.
It's a crazy event.
It's a crazy event, yeah.
It's how many times you can skip the rope, just single skips for 3 minutes straight, right?
Yeah, basically, yeah. And people are going crazy fast, crazy good. It's quite anaerobic still, even though it's kind of our aerobic event. It's quite anaerobic. 3 minutes
is a long time.
3 minutes is a long time to be moving your legs real speedy.
It's as fast as possible, right?
It is.
And I'm taking this from the Wired video, but 5 jumps a second or more than 5.
Yeah, it's like bonkers. 5 to 6. Yeah. It's cool because I love to nerd out a little bit on jump rope, right? And at a pretty average speed of doing it, the rope is going about 80 miles per hour. And by the rope, I mean like measuring the most distant point of the jump rope that's like circumferencing, if that's a verb, around your body, right? So that's what we're measuring. Yeah, like I always like to pretend there's a little bug on the end, like holding on for its dear life. That's the point that we're measuring. He's going 80 miles per hour. And that's a pretty casual speed. I need to calculate out some of the top speeds to give that number sometime.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah.
Tell us about torque ropes, can you?
Yeah. All right, guys. I have something really cool for you here today. No, I'm super excited. I'm going to talk into the microphone. I'm super excited to have a jump rope company.
Closer?
I'm super excited.
Sorry, I totally stepped on you there. Give us the full commercial.
Take 15. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, no, I'm super excited now. I have jump ropes. It took me forever because I wanted it to be good. And some people will just kind of come out with regurgitations of ropes and this kind of thing. And I just wanted them to be ropes that I'm happy with using. And I've used every jump rope that exists. So believe me, I have my fair share of trying out jump ropes. I probably own like 500 jump ropes. So yeah, torque ropes was born. Torque being super nerdy, right? The force of rotation, but also wanted it to relate to kind of jump rope, obviously, but also me and kind of what I'm doing. And I love to be a little bit nerdy. But yeah, so we have beaded ropes and some PVC ropes right now. Those are the exact ropes that I use, so I'm really excited about them.
Can I see it, actually?
Yeah.
What makes this rope better than
it's a great question. So, especially when you're first starting out, I always advise people to use beaded ropes. And the reason is just because the amount of sensory feedback that you get from these jump ropes is exactly what you want to be starting out on. So you have that visual feedback because you can have different colors that you see. There's a thickness that comes on the beads. You have the tangible feedback because there is a bit of weight on the rope and you can feel it when you hold it. And then of course you have the audible feedback because the beads are striking the ground. You get that clicking sound. It's one of my favorite sounds in the world. But yeah, and jump ropes shouldn't be crazy expensive. Like they should be affordable for people. And then of course the beads last outside, so you can really jump kind of anywhere with these. And there's some of my favorites. Pretty much all my videos are either with this rope or my PVC rope, but the beaded rope is really my favorite because it's super fun. And I love the sounds and I love the colors. And yeah, if you want to go a little bit quicker, so this one's called Resistance. That's the rope that I have on my website. You can get different colors. If you want to start moving a little bit faster or start getting into more complicated skills, you can kind of scale down on a weight and go to that PVC rope. The benefit of that would be it's lighter, so it can move quicker. But also there's a lot of flexibility when it comes to like the handles and the rope itself. And that kind of gets into more complicated skills where you start even like wrapping the rope around your body. You can find tutorials on my Instagram. SnorriB, SNORIB. Just type Tori Boggs, honestly. And then I'm excited to start coming out with more on like my YouTube channel and stuff like that. I also have some really fun YouTube projects going on. Should I talk about these?
Whatever you want.
Are you gonna like transition me here?
Do you have any fun
Nick,
YouTube
are you
videos?
leading this thing? Like,
Do you have any fun YouTube videos?
all right, Nick's out of the video for the rest.
Tori's Vancast, everybody.
I took over.
Wait, can I ask you a quick question about torque?
Yeah.
Length of jump ropes.
Oh, that's also a super great question. Okay, wait, what's your question?
No, that was a good question. Take it away. No. Do they come in different lengths? What's the benefit of a different length of jump rope?
So they come in just one length, but they're all adjustable, which is also what you want in a jump rope. You don't want to get a rope. Okay, it's a bad sign if you go onto a jump rope company or a company selling jump ropes and they sell a fixed size based on your height. That is a bad sign. That means that they don't know jump rope and they don't know what they're doing. You can just pull. Oh, that sounded really negative. Usually I'm pretty positive. So just don't trust them. But you want to get one that's adjustable because as you improve your jumping skills, the rope length is quite fluid. I even still am adjusting my rope lengths and I use different lengths for different things. So you definitely want one that's easily adjustable in size. As far as sizing goes, when you stand on the rope with both feet and pull up on the handles, right, I'll just let you think about that for a second. So stand up with 2 feet, pull upward on the handles. It should fall between about your chest or the bottom of your rib cage. And this is something that a lot of people don't know or they get wrong. Usually they're thinking to the bottom of the underarms. That's what pretty much everyone was taught. But what ends up happening is that it's way too long. It strikes the ground as you swing the rope over you too far out in front of your feet, bounces up over your feet, and you mess up. And then people get frustrated. They throw the ropes down, absolutely chuck the ropes to the side. They stop jump rope altogether because they think that they can't jump rope when it's really just the rope was too long for them. That's it. So that happens so much. So I really want people to know the right size of the rope so that they're not stopping jump rope because the rope is way too long.
I think I did that.
Yeah.
I won't say the place I bought a jump rope from, but I'm like, it's just like so laborious to like get it around. That was a good vocab word, by the way.
Laborious.
To get it all the way around, I'm like, this isn't as fun as it used to be.
Yeah,
Why is that? But it's probably length. It probably was.
Something simple. Like there's just a couple simple things like that. Like that makes a big difference for people's experience when they first start jumping. The other one is just jumping technique. Probably the biggest technique point, of all of them, besides jumping on the balls of your feet. So don't jump heel or midfoot, but that's super important. But the most important is to keep your hands as close by your hips as you possibly can. A lot of people teach squeezing the elbows into the side, and this is not a good habit to develop when starting, but pretty much everyone not in the world of jump rope jumps like that. And that's what we're trying to prevent because you can only put your arms or you can only move your arms so much in a range of motion when your elbows are into your side. So that's why we don't want to do that. Whereas if you get your hands closer to your hips by pulling your elbows back, you can have a shorter rope ultimately. That means you can go faster, but also you have a larger range of motions for what your arms can do and what your wrists can do.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a pretty big one. So when we first start teaching people, we really emphasize that most of all.
Being efficient is very important in jump roping.
Yes, especially if you want to go really fast. That was a big thank you for that. Like,
absolutely.
Torque plug.
Well, the last thing I want to ask about also efficiency is is there a training plan for jump roping? I know you're doing stuff with the company in Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
I mean, are you running a lot? Are you doing box jumps? Like,
that's a good question. Well, it depends on kind of the season. So how I stay healthy for like performance is quite different from how I'm training for jump rope. So jump rope, once again, is quite anaerobic. I'm working on a lot of lower body strength, not so much the push and pull of the upper body, because we want to still stay a bit lighter and we want to be able to move our arms quite quickly. For sure, running is, I don't always love running, but I love it for jump rope. Swimming, all of that kind of stuff, that's really nice cardio-wise. And jump rope isn't always about cardio, as we've talked about. It's a lot more anaerobic, but you can really lighten up that stress if you can be just aerobically better going into the sport. What else were we talking about training-wise? Okay, when it comes time to performances, though, so it's usually a different season, my priority is preventing injuries. Preventing injuries all around, especially before competition, but in the performance world, it's a little different because now you're getting paid and a company is relying on you, and your fellow cast members are now relying on you. So competition, you want to be healthy, obviously, but they're my events. So if I get injured, I'm not like letting other people down. But in a show, if you get injured, it can cause a myriad of issues for your coworkers that you just don't want to do. And then plus you want to keep working, obviously. So it's really easy in performance world to get injured because you're doing the same movements over and over. Like you have an act, and so the movements are set. You're not varying those movements all the time. Sometimes I like to do that in jump rope, but a lot of times you can't as a performer, especially like the really difficult acts that maybe have huge props or doing some crazy things. It's hard to have variability in there. So you're really kind of really putting a lot of impact on the same parts of your body. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so you're more injury prone for that. So a lot of it is like trying to not do like what I'm doing on stage. I'm not doing other than just like warming up to make sure I have it down for the act. I'm trying to avoid those things or that same kind of impact on those parts of my body by doing other things. That was a really long explanation.
That's a great point, though. Because running cross country in college, it was like we were trained to do like all these lateral movements.
Yeah,
because
okay.
Running straight line all day long, do something to balance out.
Yeah, that's a good,
injury.
thank you for saying that. So balancing out to avoid injury, yeah, that's a super concise way. Yeah.
Cool. There you go. Tips from Nick, you know?
It's my podcast, man. Like, don't try to put your name on this.
So this one time, actually, I was beating the world record for triple unders. And
oh, yeah,
ask me about it?
The parking lot in California?
Yeah, from Florida. But thank you for that great insight. Torque ropes, TORQ.
TORQ, yeah.
Great. It's a great looking rope.
Yep. Yep.
I'm excited. Maybe I get to try a triple under on it, perhaps.
Yeah, we can try it.
In my Birkenstock.
I mean, yeah, if I'm doing like faster things, I'm actually going to like, so speed events, those kind of things, you can definitely use these ropes, of course, but they're obviously going to be slower. So we want to go down to those wire ropes, and that's, I use the RPM ropes for that actually.
Gotcha.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
IG, YouTube. Tell us all the good things.
Okay, Instagram, Snorri V. Oh, the story there. Yeah. So my parents, I didn't snore, I swear, maybe I should start that. I did not snore, I promise, when I was younger. But my parents got me a really cool pillow that said Snorri on it. So snoring plus Tori. I loved this pillow. I literally like used it until it fell apart. It had these cool little colorful frogs on it. Anyway, we had a documentary filmed about jump rope. I got to be one of the jumpers in it, which was pretty cool. But what ended up happening is some of the interviews were in my childhood bedroom at like 4 a.m. on Easter morning. It was just the only time that the producers could do it. And it's in my room. I don't know why, but this is what they chose. And my Snorri pillow was in the back of this video. So a couple years later, the film was done. It came out, and then all of my friends, of course, saw it, and they just started calling me Snorri. So that was kind of like my cute little nickname when I was little. And then, of course, everything from that point my Instagram was now Snorri. My AIM screen name was Snorri. Like my email, not anymore.
Put her up on AIM. Everybody.
Yeah. Wonder if those accounts still exist.
I wonder.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how I should reach out to guests on AIM.
Perfect. Instant messaging, man.
Thanks
Can't
for
get
telling
better
me
than
that.
that. Wait a second.
Thanks for telling me. I was like, was Tori be taken or?
Yeah. No, that was what was going
That's
on
cool.
there.
I like that.
Well, I didn't know my Instagram was going to take off, but now I've thought about, should I change it? Because some people are like, oh, you got to like put your brand together, like Tori Jump Ropes. That's what everyone's doing. Anyone with a jump rope on Instagram is like their name and then jump ropes. And I'm like, I don't want to be that. This is just too nostalgic for me to let go of. Like,
I mean,
Snorri B, so Tori Boggs, the B is for Boggs. But yeah, no, I love it.
you did something right for sure.
Yeah, a lot of people though get it wrong they think it's snow rib. It's not snow rib.
Oh.
Although it sounds weird. It sounds pretty interesting, but it's Snorri B.
Okay.
But everywhere else, like TikTok, all these things, you can find just Tori Boggs.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Tori B, Snorri B. I'm getting mixed up.
Yeah, it's cool. Just
Google
go to
Tori
my
Boggs.
Instagram. Yeah, or Google, just go there and all my links are there.
Okay.
Oh, YouTube.
Yes.
Wait, I gotta talk about this. Wait,
Please.
were you about to
No, I was just.
Were you closing this podcast without letting me?
No, I forgot to tell you this is a marathon episode.
Oh, sweet.
We're doing
So
a
this is
7-hour episode.
Oh, great.
We are on our.
Super excited. I'm
We've only
gonna
been going 15 minutes.
miss my flight. That's okay. It's a long flight.
You got a coffee left?
Yeah. Oh, I really wanted to go jump in front of the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco. Do you think you can make that happen? No, I'm totally kidding.
I was like, shoot, when are you leaving? It'll
Yeah.
be dark.
I know. Oh, can you imagine?
You want to fly the drone? It was like nighttime. I felt bad. I was like, I would.
Oh, that would be an epic spot for it, though.
Oh,
Can you?
yeah.
Are you even allowed? You're probably not even allowed to fly it over there.
You're not, but we will anyway. What do you have coming up on YouTube?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So I've been working with Brooks Running to put a lot of these videos together. But yeah, so I've been doing this project where I meet with a professional Olympic athlete and we switch sports. So I've gotten to do some really cool sports. And what we're kind of doing throughout the episode, I mean, we're having a great time, but we're also kind of finding this crossover between the different sports and jump rope. So I've gotten to do some really cool episodes so far. You can kind of look on there. I got to run with Ryan Hall, who's just this incredible. Yeah, he's awesome.
American record holder of the marathon.
Exactly. Like
That's sick. I didn't know that.
He's a super cool dude. Like just a really nice guy. Was super fun to work with. Obviously very knowledgeable about what he does. His wife is awesome.
I met his wife. Yeah.
Yeah, she's crushing it. They're amazing.
He's like a bodybuilder now.
I know. Totally switched it up.
That's so cool though.
Yeah. So that was like my very first episode, was getting to run with Ryan Hall in Flagstaff, Arizona. Like it was super cool.
Oh, you couldn't breathe, I bet, right? It's high there.
I didn't actually notice it too badly. I was also pretty well conditioned. I had just come off of like some big training, so it wasn't too bad for me. But maybe if I'd been there for longer, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's how it works.
It typically gets better. I've gone to like training camp for running. At,
Yeah.
Like, not in Flagstaff, but Mammoth Mountain up in Mammoth Lakes. And like at 10,000 feet, it's like you get there and you can feel it, even when you're driving in the car. But
maybe it's because I was just having such a great time, like working with Ryan. Like he was great.
yeah.
And he got into the jump rope. So he gave me great tips for running. I got to show him some skills with jumping rope. It was super fun. The next episode was with Holly Holm, UFC fighter. This was super cool too. So for Holly and I, we had actually been communicating for a while on Instagram. Like she loves jump rope. We ended up making some routines together when I was like in Germany, and she like from literally across the world, we were like doing these routines. So to go to her gym, and she taught me the right way to punch, and then I got to do some really cool jump rope skills with her. It was great. Like I was learning totally new things I had never done before. It was a fun one. Let me think. What else have I done? What was my? Oh yeah. In LA, I got to meet rugby player Billy Meeks. He's an Australian rugby player now. On the Giltinis in LA. This was super cool because I know nothing about rugby. And so just being able to like learn how to like just hold the ball, throw the ball, the basics of the sport was super fun. And then of course he was awesome at jumping rope. So that was super cool to kind of share that. And then the most recent one that was posted was, in the UK, I got to drive a racing car with Phil Hansen. He's a a racing driver from the UK. He competes in the Le Mans series. It was really cool. And this was, okay, all the other episodes were fun, but actual activity-wise, this was freaking cool. Like, I did not know I was going to love driving super fast as much as I did, and just learning how to like apex at the curve, like full throttle down, brake suddenly, drift across. Like, it was one of the coolest things ever. Poor Phil, like I was like, can we go another round? Can we drive another hour? But he was super fun to work with. And then he was quite good at jump rope. So he was able to get into like triple unders and stuff, which made it really fun. Like, he does a lot of functional fitness training for his sport, and he was quite good as well. And I have some really cool ones coming up. Another one. Is that okay? I'm going over. You can
whatever
cut
you
all
want.
of this.
No, we're keeping it.
I have one. I already filmed it. It's coming out. Maybe I shouldn't say that in case this comes out. So another one that just recently came out was with Chloe Bruce. She's a stunt girl, and she's an MMA freestyle artist, which is quite interesting. So she's doing more like routines with MMA fighting moves, but she's been a stunt woman in like Star Wars, Guardian of the Galaxy, like some super crazy films, and we kind of talked about that in the video. So she showed me how to kind of do some kicks, and then we got into jumping, and she's also like, all these people are picking up jump rope quite well, but what I love is being able to do skills that relate to their sport. So with her, she was teaching me kicking, different ways that they're kicking, so we were able to associate that with the kicking movements that we do in jump rope and specific skills for that. Holly was a little more boxing based, so we were doing a lot of like the boxer step and kind of unique movements like that. Phil was all about speed, of course, relating those. And then with the rugby player Billy, we were throwing the rugby a lot. Like, he was teaching me kind of unique ways to throw it and move the ball around. So then I was teaching him how to like throw the jump rope around. So yeah, and it translates quite well. I mean, they're picking up the sport quite well when it comes to like relating those movements.
Well, a lot of times, like, athletes who aren't primarily jump rope athletes are using jump roping for training in their own sports, right?
Yeah.
That's so cool that you have this opportunity to connect with athletes
outside
of
for
jump
sure.
roping. That's so cool.
It's super cool. Yeah.
You can find that on your YouTube or Brooks, or where?
No, it's on my YouTube. Yeah, Tori Boggs on YouTube. I'm also posting up like tutorials and stuff like this that I'll plan to keep kind of going with that. So kind of the top 5 tips for getting started and footwork skills and these kind of really fun things. You can totally go there, watch it, have some fun with me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's so fun. Your content is amazing.
Thank you.
Seriously. Speaking of tips, the premise of the show, Nick's Vancast, or, as you like to call it, Tori's Vancast.
Hey guys, welcome to Tori's Vancast. We're here today with, there's actually no guests. I'm just kicking it in my van with some great coffee. Thanks to Target. All right, Nick, what are you going to say? I need to stop.
That coffee is working.
It's good.
Good. Okay, I'm glad.
I've only had like this much.
The premise of Nick's Vancast is talking to people who have done something that they love, you in this case, jump roping, and made it a career, and have been able to do something and share that passion with others. And I always like to ask my guest what they have in terms of advice for people who either want to pursue what you're doing, which is jump roping, or even just pursuing something that they are passionate about and either haven't, stepped out into yet, or just want to take their activity to the next level. What would you say?
Oh, that's tough.
Those folks.
Well, first of all, if you want to pursue jumping, go follow me on Instagram.
Buy a torque rope.
Buy a torque rope. Look at my YouTube. No, but seriously, my goal is to try to give people the best experience possible when they first start jumping rope. So if you ever have questions, just message me. I do my best to try to answer everybody, especially when they're really interested in jump rope. So definitely do those things if you are trying to start into jumping rope. Yeah, I mean, as for general life lessons, I think we kind of go back to the very beginning of the podcast, I guess rounding that out a bit, is just doing what you absolutely love each and every day. And I'm not saying that I, wake up every single day and I'm like, the first thing I'm going to do is pick up the jump rope. No, I mean, there have been loads of times I've hated jump rope. But I think it's identifying what the real issue is in your life that maybe you're not happy with. It's not necessarily about jump rope itself. It's about maybe I wasn't into the competitions at the time, or I wasn't happy with what I was doing with the jump rope, but it wasn't actually jump rope itself. So I think identifying those problems and those pain points in your life and then trying to change them is actually quite important for going forward and making sure each and every day, you are able to look forward to doing something. And if you aren't looking at what that is, it's to try to turn that around. Otherwise, like, what the heck are we doing? If you're not enjoying like what you're doing in life, what the heck are you doing here?
Well, ain't that the kick in the butt?
Yeah.
That's perfect. Tori Boggs, it's amazing what you're doing. Keep spreading the happiness. Jump rope and smile. Thanks for coming on Nick's Vancast.
Jump rope and smile, sir.
Right there. I love it.
So dorky.
Have a safe flight. Are you really going to stay up all night?
No, I never committed to that.
We're going to the Golden Gate Bridge. Let's go.
For real. I was looking, so we don't have to keep, I don't know what you want to do.
We're going to keep going. A marathon.
My flight is like 8:30. I was looking at, can I make it to the bridge before my flight? And then I realized I would have to leave at like 4 a.m. I was like, I don't even think it would be daylight on the bridge by the time I got there. Yeah. And then had to leave with enough time to get to the airport. Yeah, I know. Next time I'll have to, I don't know, I had it in my head that it was going to work. I did go to I had 30 minutes break today, and I like sprinted down to the beach just to see it. It was cool.
Yeah, Capitola or
Sunny Cove? Something like this. Yeah. It's a beautiful area. Santa Cruz is beautiful.
It is. Did you go in the water? It's very cold.
Yeah, I stepped in it briefly. Stepped out pretty quickly. Saw a seal.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
Like, hey, what are you doing here?
That's his house.
Yeah, it is his house.
That's what he's doing there.
I was saying hello to the house. Yeah.
You come back to Santa Cruz anytime.
Thank you.
We'll get the drone shots in. We'll go to the Golden Gate Bridge.
Yeah, for real.
Tori Boggs, everybody.
I feel like I'm at the tippy top of my game, looking down at the raft.